In a forgotten corner of the desert, where the wind carries stories older than time, there stood a small village, quiet, sunburned, and unchanging. But one day, something happened there, something so strange, so simple, that people would speak of it for generations. It was the story of a door without a wall. The Old Carpenter. There lived in that village an old carpenter named Salim ibn Naim. His hands were rough like the desert stones, but his heart was gentle as morning light. He spent his life carving wood, making doors and windows for every home in the village. One morning, Salim woke up before sunrise. He sat beside his small lamp and whispered to himself, "I have built doors for every wall, but what about the door that opens hearts?" The idea sounded strange even to him, but something deep inside told him it was time to build a different kind of door. So he worked all day, carefully selecting the strongest pieces of cedar wood. He polished the frame, carved delicate patterns of stars and moons, and painted the wood the color of sand kissed by the sunset. When he was done, he didn't attach the door to any wall. Instead, he carried it to the middle of the village square and stood it upright, alone, under the blazing sun. Laughter and confusion. The villagers gathered quickly. Men stopped their work. Children pointed and laughed. Women peeked from behind their windows, whispering, "Has the old man finally lost his mind?" A young farmer approached him and said mockingly, "Salim, who builds a door without a house?" The old man smiled. His voice was calm and kind. "Not every door is meant to close something in," he said. "Some doors are meant to open something within." The crowd laughed louder. They thought he was talking nonsense, and soon Salim's door became a daily joke in the village. Children played around it, knocking and pretending to enter invisible rooms. Adults mocked it as a symbol of madness. But when the night fell, the laughter faded, and some of them swore they could hear the wind humming softly around the door, like whispers in an ancient language no one could understand. The desert's warning days turned into weeks. The old carpenter visited the door every morning. He dusted it off, checked the hinges, and smiled at anyone who passed by. But one evening, the sky began to change. Dark clouds rolled in from the horizon, and the wind grew heavy with sand. The elders frowned. Storms were rare in this season. "Something isn't right," they murmured. By midnight, the storm had become a monster. Thunder roared, the ground trembled, and walls began to crack. People ran out of their homes, shouting, "The roofs are falling. The wind will tear us apart." In the middle of the chaos, one man shouted, "Where's Salim, the mad carpenter?" And there he was, standing calmly beside his door in the village square, his clothes whipping in the storm, his gray beard dancing in the wind. "The miracle! Come here!" Salim cried. "All of you, behind the door." Some hesitated, others were too frightened to think, but soon one family ran toward him, then another, until nearly the entire village stood behind the door, clinging to each other in fear. The wind screamed. Sand cut their faces. Yet somehow, behind that wooden door, they could still breathe. The storm split in two half, rushing to the left, half to the right, as if an invisible wall was protecting them. Hours passed. The storm raged like a living beast, but not a single soul behind the door was harmed. And when morning came, the village was silent. The storm had vanished. Houses were broken, trees had fallen. But right there, in the middle of the ruins, the door still stood untouched. The truth revealed. The villagers gathered around Salim, trembling. "What magic is this?" one whispered. "Is this door enchanted?" Salim smiled, his eyes glimmering in the sunrise. "It's not magic," he said softly. "It's faith." He placed his hand gently on the door's wood. "When I lost my home many years ago," he continued, "I learned that walls don't protect us. Hearts do, and faith is the wall you cannot see." tears filled the villager's eyes. The same people who once mocked him now stood in silence, humbled. A little girl asked, "Will the door always protect us, Grandpa Salim?" The old carpenter knelt beside her and whispered, "It will, as long as you believe that it can." The Door of the Heart. Outro. Years passed. The door remained in the village square, a symbol of hope, of courage, of unseen strength. Travelers came from distant lands to see it, but none could explain how a simple door had defied the desert storm. When Salim died, the villagers didn't build a tomb of stone. They carved his name on the wooden frame of the door. And on quiet nights, when the wind passes through the desert, it still hums softly as if the door remembers and whispers the same truth to all who listen. Not every door needs a wall. Sometimes the unseen wall is faith itself. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to Global Fairy Tales and discover more magical stories from around the world where every tale opens a door to something within.